of ending the increasing security challenges at hand. The federal government has been urged to place a lot of emphasis on educating and empowering citizens to tackle the rising levels of insecurity in the country. Entertainer Teniola Akpata said in Abuja that there was an urgent need to infuse the fight against insecurity in the educational curriculum. Correspondent Margaret Obo has details.
The fight against insecurity in Nigeria has been a tough one in recent times. For over a decade, the country has been fraught with security challenges ranging from insurgency in the northeast, perpetrated by Boko Haram, to breakdown of law and order as a result of activities of bandits and unknown gunmen. The recent killings and abductions of military personnel at the Nigeria Defense Academy (NDA) has caused tension to rise in the country.
Security of women, is to educate people, teach boys, teach girls, teach old, teach young, let them understand the importance of making sure that everyone is safe, regardless of their gender. Making sure that everyone is safe.
Some celebrities say the situation in the country is disgraceful, but Tenny has a different perspective on things. She advocates that self-defense must be taught in institutions.
No one is safe until everyone is safe. So, going to schools, just teaching it, infusing it in educational curriculum, teaching kids from young, teaching university students, even down to having workshops at workplaces to teach you and I how to defend ourselves. Have programs where we go learn self-defense as well.
The rising violence and insecurity in the country threatens peace and unity of the nation.
Dead bodies are yet to be evacuated just within less than 24 hours.
The clerics also had already said that a life of a Muslim is compared to 100 Christians, and they threaten that they're going to come and attack. And this they've started. We've seen it clearly. So we are saying, let the world hear that this is what they are doing.
The government must work significantly to improve both national and state security ahead of the 2023 general elections. From Abuja, Margaret Obo, Silverbird News 24.
The House of Representatives on Thursday vowed not to be cowed in its quest to ascertain the actual volume of premium motor spirit and other petroleum products in the country. Chairman House Committee on Finance, James Faleke, issued a notice during the ongoing interactive session on the 2020 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper. Mr. Faleke, who frowned at the failure of the PPPRA Executive Secretary Abdulkader Saidu to appear as scheduled, threatened that the committee will activate relevant sections of the Constitution to compel his appearance. To politics now, because the National Public Secretary of the People's Democratic Party has said the party has resolved the leadership crisis which rocked it in the last couple of days. Kola Olubodinyo said this on Thursday at a press conference in the party's headquarters in Abuja. Mr. Olubodinyo told reporters the party has affirmed Yemi Akinwumi as the acting national chairman of the party. He dismissed suggestions the party has sacrificed Uche Secondus, who has been barred by a court from being chairman of the party. The meeting was attended by Nazif Suleiman, the Northern Deputy National Chairman of the party, who declared himself as the acting national chairman of the party on Tuesday. Ahead of the 2023 elections, discussions have again shifted to the improvement of women participation in politics. The African Democratic Party is offering women 35% of elected positions, and its female members are prepared to take advantage of the offer.
The game plan of the ADC is to mobilize 1 million members for the party in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Beyond that, it is targeting 10 million votes from women in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. The idea is to discourage money politics and vote incompetent persons in 2023.
That's the strategic roadmap. 1 million membership, women membership for every zone. That's what she has undertaken, and that's what I want to believe that all of you are keen into. That as you live here, you get into that mobilization. It's not about sharing money. No more sharing money in ADC. No more. There's no money I give to you. There's no money any candidate give to you that is worth any life.
The women are prepared for the task and are determined to take drastic measures to attain this objective.
If you look at what is happening, women are the end, are the women suffering at the end. They will lose their children, they will lose their husband because of this insecurity. We cannot continue sitting down like that, watching them doing what is wrong. And we have said, if they refuse to give us that mandate, we will go out naked in Nigeria.
The ADC is blaming the two big parties for the worsening insecurity in the land. It believes the proliferation of armed groups within Nigerian borders is as a result of the incompetence of the present administration. The party also believes only informed choices by Nigerian citizens can change that narrative.
As the Nigerian government continues to ignore the demand of its resident doctors, the government of Saudi Arabia is recruiting over 500 medical doctors from the disillusioned health professionals. This is against the backdrop of a cholera outbreak that has infected many Nigerians and a COVID-19 pandemic that continues to spread across the country. A visit to the National Hospital shows that the effect of these dysfunctions is borne by the poor masses.
As the resident doctor strike lingers into its 23rd day, these doctors are here in Sheraton Hotel to seek a better future with the Federal Ministry of Health of the Saudi Arabia government. The recruitment, which commenced on the 24th of this month, will continue for 3 days. No fewer than 500 doctors have taken the offer from the Saudi authorities, saying they are tired of the situation of the country.
The health sectors have downgraded, I must say. Infrastructures of the health systems, the hospitals, are not well equipped. You don't have what you need to work with. So some hospitals don't even have emergency drugs in the A&E department. And some hospitals don't even have good beds for patients. The pay, the salaries given to doctors in this country is so poor. For the past 6 years, I think my salary has been downgrading, kind of. So what I earned when I was doing my housemanship is more than what I'm earning now.
The declining security situation of the country is also a factor that has prompted these doctors to search for a more secured environment where they can operate peacefully.
When you are in a country where your life is not safe, irrespective of the amount of money you make, then it's not worth it. So if a military formation, which is supposed to be the most secured in the country, can be attacked, then what is the fate of an ordinary citizen in this country?
From the look of things, many of these doctors may have left the country to seek greener pastures before government decides to ache into their call. From the nation's capital, Aishat Olawuji, Silverbird News 24.
Delta State government has confirmed a fresh outbreak of avian influenza, also known as bird flu, with over 164,000 birds so far affected in farms across 7 local government areas of the state. Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Julius Ogedi, disclosed this at a news conference, jointly chaired by the Commissioner for Information, Charles Anyago, in Asaba.
report. Owners of these farms not to allow individuals or items from infected farms to find their way into their own farms, because it's important that we contain the spread so that it does not deal a much further blow on the producer sector of our agricultural sector of our economy. And thereafter, after we are able to continue and prevent it, then we can now begin to proceed to other steps that government will want to take to safeguard the sector and indeed preserve what we want to realize from that sector as a prosperity vehicle for this administration.
You're watching NewsBlitz, reaching live from Abuja. We'll be back with more reports right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. Next, the chairman, I beg your pardon, Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Bubu Marwa, retired on Wednesday, commenced the payment of entitlements to the families of at least 188 personnel who died in active service. General Marwa also took time to appreciate the immense support of President Muhammadu Buhari to the agency in its battle against drug traffickers, and improving the welfare of officers and personnel. Aundona India reports.
The fight against drug traffickers is dangerous. Just like other security operatives who risk their lives in curbing various forms of criminality, the officers and men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, are not left out. Some have paid the ultimate price with their lives. Their families are here at the behest of the chairman of the NDLEA, General Bubu Marwa.
As we try to care for the families of our late officers, most of whom were slain in the line of duty, we also did not relent in our efforts to promote their welfare through several measures, including the recent harmonization of ranks. To the officers and men who died in the line of duty, we use this opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation for their service and sacrifice, and for the families left behind, our deep and sincere condolences.
General Marwa, on behalf of the agency, is grateful to President Muhammadu Buhari, who, regardless of scarce resources, has prioritized the activities of the NDLEA.
Because we're a small agency and he can easily look the other way in the face of bigger challenges and the need for funding, and yet he looked in our direction and acted.
Families of at least 188 officers who died in active service received checks of various amounts. They are grateful. For some of them, it has come as a huge relief.
It's kind of a relief, but you don't pay for the loss, but just to help out the family.
We thank him for this kind gesture, and we ask that the Almighty God will continue to bless him, bless the works of his hands, bless the NDLEA officers, and bless Nigeria.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has waged an obvious war against drug traffickers in Nigeria. The risks to the lives of personnel cannot be averted. However, these may serve as a confidence booster if they are sure their families will be compensated in case the worst happens. From Abuja, Aonduna Inga, Silverbird News 24.
Stakeholders in the agricultural sector are calling on the federal government to adopt policies that target food provision as a fundamental human right in Nigeria. This was discussed at the plenary roundtable held at the Feed Nigeria Summit in Abuja on the 2021 to 2025 New Nigeria Agricultural Policy. Correspondent Favor Basio has this.
Policy flips by successive administrations have grossly affected growth in the agricultural sector. An example is the agricultural transformation agenda that failed to meet its 2011 to 2016 set goals. In 2016, the Agriculture Promotion Policy was created to end decades of failed policies and engender a sustainable plan for the advancement of the agriculture sector. Stakeholders at this forum are deliberating on a better policy that will address the food crisis in the country.
But how do you run practicals without machineries? I can list because I am in charge by the special grace of God of all the agricultural colleges in this country. There is none that has 2 tractors, and yet we are producing HND agricultural technology. It's not possible. How can an agricultural technologist not be able to drive a tractor, not be able to change simple blocks? Any policy that does not make a deliberate attempt to provide these facilities to these students, we are wasting the time of these students. We will graduate them and they will succeed in only driving kabu kabu.
Food security and agribusiness remains the life wire of every society. Stakeholders believe that for the nation to achieve the aforementioned, the sector must focus on pragmatic and sustainable policies that will address shortages.
Policy itself is a slow process. It involves legislation sometimes. It involves closely working together. It involves cycles of several decision making. But if we persist, we know that sometime, little by little, government will adopt our policy, particularly the policy that we want government to adopt on food as a fundamental human right in this country.
Food production capacity in Nigeria is at a very low level due to a number of factors. The possibility of a looming food crisis remains inevitable, except agricultural productivity is enhanced to match population growth through best practices policies, adoption, and implementation. Favor Basiotu, Silverbird News 24.
You are still watching NewsBlitz. We'll bring you news from the foreign scene right after this break. Stay with us. Rescue workers are searching for more than a dozen people who are missing after landslide tore through towns in Venezuela's western Merida state. With 10 more days of rain still forecast, rescuers are racing to reach those feared buried before new mudslides are triggered. 20 people are confirmed to have died, and emergency workers have still to reach some of the worst hit areas. President Nicolas Maduro said more than 8,000 homes had been destroyed. A mass brawl has erupted inside the Armenian parliament building for the third time in just 2 days. Wednesday's altercation is said to have started after the opposition leader, Vahi Hakobian, was heckled for calling Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan a lying populist. The Speaker of the House called on security personnel to remove several members from the parliament floor in an attempt to end the disturbance. And Japan has suspended the use of about 1.6 million doses of the Moderna vaccine due to contamination. The health ministry said foreign materials were found in some of the doses of a batch of roughly 560,000 vials. Takeda Pharmaceuticals, which sells and distributes the vaccine in Japan, said Moderna had put 3 batches on hold out of an abundance of caution. It said an issue at a manufacturing contract site in Spain was the likely cause, but it did not elaborate. Sports is up next. In sports now, Super Eagles coach Gary Ross says the opening games against Liberia and Cape Verde will be key to Nigeria's quest of qualifying from the 2022 FIFA World Cup. The German tactician stated that the Super Eagles must kickstart their campaign on a winning note against Liberia at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos next month. Meanwhile, Super Eagles trio Victor Osimhen, Ola Aina, and Tyron Ebuehi are doubtful for Nigeria's 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against Liberia and Cape Verde. This is due to the League R, Serie A, the decision not to release players for international matches amid COVID-19 restrictions. Britain's Lawrence Okolie will defend his WBO cruiserweight world title on the undercard of Anthony Joshua's bout against Alexandra Usyk in September. Joshua will defend his WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight crowns at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the 25th of September. Okolie will be part of the build-up, taking on mandatory challenger Dylan Prasovic from Montenegro. It will be Okolie's first defense of his title after stopping Poland's Krzysztof Glowacki in March. And that's NewsBlitz for today. Remember, the coronavirus is a deadly disease. Wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds regularly, or use a hand sanitizer. Also, wear a face mask when outside and maintain some physical distancing. And thanks for watching. From me, Shegun Jumu, and the rest of the team here, have a great evening. Goodbye.